First, let's explore the climax, the highest point of tension, as Dr. Jekyll's friends decide to break into his lab, certain Dr. Jekyll has been killed.
"Down with the door, Poole!" Poole swung the axe over his shoulder. The blow shook the building, and the red baize door leaped against the lock and hinges. A dismal screech, as of mere animal terror, rang from the cabinet. Up went the axe again, and again the panels crashed and the frame bounded. 4 times the blow fell, but the wood was tough and the fittings were of excellent workmanship. And it was not until the 5th that the lock burst and the wreck of the door fell inwards on the carpet. The besiegers, appalled by their own riot and the stillness that had succeeded, stood back a little and peered in. There lay the cabinet before their eyes in the quiet lamplight, a good fire glowing and chattering on the hearth. Right in the midst, there lay the body of a man, sorely contorted and still twitching. They drew near on tiptoe, turned it on its back, and beheld the face of Edward Hyde. He was dressed in clothes far too large for him, clothes of the doctor's bigness. The cords of his face still moved with a semblance of life, but life was quite gone.
What elements of the writing made this exciting? The fast pace? The sentence styles? The sound effects? Onomatopoeia?
The ending. Revelations.
Dear Lanyon, you are one of my oldest friends, and although we may have differed at times on scientific questions, I cannot remember, at least on my side, any break in our affection. There was never a day when, if you had said to me, "Jekyll, my life, my honor, my reason depend upon you," I would not have sacrificed my left hand to help you. Lanyon, my life, my honor, my reason are all at your mercy. If you fail me tonight, I am lost. You might suppose after this preface that I am going to ask you for something dishonorable to grant. Judge for yourself. What is the purpose of this letter? How do you know? Find quotes to prove your point. Explain your point.
Point. The purpose of this letter is to persuade Lanyon to help. Evidence. The letter is full of emotive, persuasive language like, "I would have sacrificed my left hand for you." Explain. Henry is trying to convince him of the importance of helping, and emotionally that not doing it would make him less of a friend.
The letter is really persuasive. Lanyon will definitely agree. Do you agree? Why?
Example. Point. I agree that the purpose of this letter is to persuade Lanyon to help, and Lanyon would agree. Evidence. The letter is full of emotive, persuasive language like, "I would have sacrificed my left hand for you." Explain. This is emotionally charged and almost manipulative. This would make Lanyon feel guilty and compelled to act.
Lanyon reveals what Henry asked him to do and what happened next.
He put the glass to his lips and drank at one gulp. A cry followed. He reeled, staggered, clutched at the table and held on, staring with injected eyes, gasping with open mouth. And as I looked, there came, I thought, a change. He seemed to swell. His face became suddenly black, and the features seemed to melt and alter. And the next moment I had sprung to my feet and leaped back against the wall, my arm raised to shield me from that prodigy, my mind submerged in terror. "Oh, God!" I screamed, and "Oh, God!" again and again. For there before my eyes, pale and shaken and half fainting, and groping before him with his hands like a man restored from death, there stood Henry Jekyll.
At this end of the book, The writer reveals through Lanyon's recollections the truth about Henry's double life and his death. How does the writer describe Lanyon's experience?